This is just a quick video of what I expect from you if you're going on the Model UN trip. So first, I want to make sure that you have my number in your phone. So put this in your phone, 860-748-3592, and text me with your name. So just text your name to this phone number so that I have all your phone numbers. Okay, we're going to leave Thursday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. You're excused from E and C period, so please make sure your teachers know that. Don't use this as an excuse to fall behind. Make sure your teachers are informed that you won't be there. They have the field trip list, but it can't hurt to remind them. And make plans for making up whatever tests or quizzes you might miss. So we're going to meet in the dining hall, and we'll be leaving by bus right from the dining hall. So bring all your luggage that you've packed. Also make sure you bring about $100 for food or debit credit card for meals. And there are a lot of good cheap options right around Temple Street where we're staying for the hotel. Make sure you look at the packing list on the portal under last minute trip tips. It's going to be really cold always because it's in January. So make sure you bring a hat and gloves and socks and shoes that will be appropriate for walking around because you're going to be walking from building to building during the conference. Make sure you pack everything you need. So especially make sure you pack your delegate binder with all your printed materials. And it can be helpful to have a laptop when you transition into typing your working papers. Often they'll let you have a laptop for that portion of the conference. It'll be difficult to print once you're at the conference. They'll have a business office at the Omni, but I wouldn't recommend waiting to print things. And also something that's just come to my attention is that there won't be free Wi-Fi at the Omni Hotel. You can get it at Starbucks, which is just down the street, and you should have some time to hang out there at times throughout the weekend. Also, I think there's free Wi-Fi in the lobby, but we're not going to have easy access to Wi-Fi in our hotel rooms, unfortunately. Just keep in mind that all school rules apply and just behave accordingly. I'm also just going to quickly go over some rules that the Omni has. So one of the rules is that you can't slide down the banisters in the lobby, and you also can't throw things from the banisters. You can't have any public displays of affection. You can't have fights. You have to be quiet so that you're not disturbing the other folks in the hotel. You can't run. Girls are not allowed in boys' rooms. Boys are not allowed in girls' rooms. As I said earlier, no throwing items, no tobacco or liquor, obviously, and no horseplay, which of course is up to their discretion to determine what is or is not horseplay. No weapons of any kind, no laser pointers, no fireworks, no swearing or inappropriate language. These are all things that we had to agree to stay at the hotel. And no immoral literature, the document says. It also says no immoral acts of any kind. So just be really on your best behavior at the Omni because we want to make sure that we can maintain the privilege of staying there. These are rules that Miss Swift and I would like you to follow. So you cannot get into a taxi because we don't want you to travel far from Temple Street. I want you to bring your charger with you for your phone so that you are sure that your phone is charged. We don't want you to fall out of communication with us. We're going to be coming around to the committees to check on you, but we also will be touching base via text regularly. Just going back to the hotel agreement. So this is what we've agreed to. The hotel can impose any sanctions they deem necessary to maintain order, even to the point of expulsion of the person or persons causing disturbances and or damage their property. So just be on your best behavior because the hotel has the authority to kick us out if any one of us is behaving inappropriately. And as you can see, they have very vague terminology in their agreement, so it's really going to be up to them to determine if our behavior is in keeping with what they expect. And then this is what I had to agree to, so I had to agree that I had read all the rules and that I promised to abide by them and that I would take personal responsibility for making sure all members of my group follow these rules. And I'll be the one responsible if you break any of the rules, so please make sure that you're following all these rules. If you find that you're lost during the conference, don't just tell me I'm on Temple Street. Temple Street is a very long street. Go to the intersection of two streets and call or text me and tell me what intersection you're at, and I can help you navigate. Make sure you always have the map with you. They'll give that to you in your materials. I always want you to be with another student. It doesn't have to be the same student every time. And one thing that you'll find is it's a little difficult to stay with Treasure Academy students once you go to your committee session. So you want to befriend another student in your committee so that you're always with someone, so you're not walking around on your own in New Haven. It is a city, and I want you guys to be safe. And one of the best ways to make sure you're safe is to always travel with someone else. So especially for dinner time, you're going to want to go with other delegates from other schools to the dinner places, all the different dinner options you could go to. So just text me where you are, and I'm going to try and go around and touch base with you all during the dinner block. And then this is just an overview of the schedule. So meet in the dining hall by 2 p.m. Then we have a pretty long amount of time to settle in, go to the hotel, go through registration. I'll have Patrick and John with me to help do a lot of paperwork that we need to do. You guys at that point will be hanging out in the lobby, potentially unpacking in your rooms if the rooms are ready. There's a new delegate training, 6:15 to 7:30. I'm just not sure if only new students are allowed to go to that or if everybody can go to that. We'll have to wait and see. The opening ceremony is in this large music hall that's about 5 minutes walk away from the Omni, so we'll have to head there a little bit before 8. Make sure you're aware of your committee's abbreviation because they're going to announce where your committee will be meeting by the abbreviation. So you need to know, for example, that your committee's name is DISEC, because they're not going to say the whole long name. They're just going to say the abbreviation. And then you'll have your first committee session, 9:15 to 11:15 at night. And then check in with us in the lobby when you return. There'll be Yale students who will walk you from your committee session to the Omni. So just make sure you pay attention as they're directing you. Then Friday will be really great because you have the opportunity to sleep in if you wish to do so. There'll be a Yale Day, which is just a bunch of different activities. I want you to tell me what activities you're going to, but if you need to rest or study for the SAT or do some schoolwork, that is acceptable. Just make sure that you communicate that and that I get to touch base with you throughout the day. Then the first committee session that day is 1:45 to 5, so it's a long block. So just make sure you get some snacks and things to tide you over until dinner. Then you have the dinner break, then committee session 3. And then when you come back, you need to come back by 10:30 and check in with us in the lobby. And tell us where you're going between 9 and 10:30. Ideally, most of you will just come right back, but I can see how some of you might want to take a little stop at Starbucks. Okay, then Saturday, some of you will be taking the SAT on Saturday. The rest of you will have your committee session from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Last year, students said they want to have more FaceTime with the advisors and the team, so I'd like us to meet in the lobby. We can decide what time we think is reasonable, just really briefly, sometime between 8 and 8:30 a.m. Then you'll have your committee session, lunch, another committee session, a little break, hour and a half committees. Oh, 2.5 hour committee session, 2 hour dinner break. So that would be nice. You could have a dinner at a nice restaurant that day, Saturday night. And then the delegate dance. So for this, we'll probably have 2 main groups. One group that is going to the dance, and then probably another group doesn't want to go to the dance. Some people, you can hang out in your room, that's fine. So we'll probably have 3 groups. Dance folks, people who just want to hang out in their room. And then maybe some people will want to go hang out at Starbucks or a restaurant. And Miss Swift or I could accompany you if you're in that third group that wants to venture out of the Omni. But you always have to have a chaperone at this point because the Yale students are very concerned about students being chaperoned at this stage. Then make sure you're prepared to leave the hotel the next morning. We'll have one last committee session. And then the closing ceremony, make sure that we sit together, and the president and head delegate should help find 20 seats together at the closing ceremony. Then we'll give you an hour after the closing ceremony to get lunch, So that's not going to be a chance to go to a fancy restaurant. You have to just get something quick like Subway, or there's a nice Chinese food restaurant where you can get something quick. All right, so I just want you to answer this question. When do we leave? So what day and what time? And then where do we leave from? And please just make sure you're being respectful of this opportunity, make the most of it, respect the Omni and its rules so that we can stay there in future years and so we can continue to build our Model United Nations team. Thanks.